everybody, Justin Popovic and Brad Gosse back again. Yet another video. And it's kind of an interesting topic. Once again, Brad and I were just chatting and we flipped on the camera because we wanted to discuss this with everybody here. And it's a problem that a lot of people face, and in fact, we face it still from time to time. People have a hard time coming up with content, whether it's a blog or if they're article writers or just YouTube marketers, doesn't matter what it is. And we kind of boil it down to the problem is people are afraid to suck. They're afraid to put out content that other people are going to judge or put down or just give them really bad feedback on and say, look, it wasn't your best stuff. And what we realized is that you have to suck. Harv Eker says every master was once a disaster, and it's true. And both of us have had to come through that. We look back at stuff we did a year or 2 years ago and realize, man, that was almost embarrassing. And Brad, I want to get Brad to talk a little bit about his analogy because he's the analogy king over here. But tell us about what your story you were telling me with regards to the musicians.
Well, I'll get to that in a second, but I guess what I want to mention is that I talked to a lot of people who are at this point where they're kind of ready to publish their first thing, whether it's a video or a blog post or an article that they want to write or a book they're doing or whatever it might be. And there's this fear that it's getting over that first publishing fear. It's like, oh, that first video's got to be fantastic, and what if it's not perfect, and what if it's not the best? And one of the things that I always tell people is that you know, just to your point, you have to be willing to suck the first time and put something out. And I'm not saying just go and put out garbage. Do your best. Yeah. But a year from now, that's going to suck. You're going to look back on it and say that sucks, and that's okay.
You're not going to love it.
Justin and I could easily sit down right now and go to the YouTube My Videos section on either one of our YouTube pages and go back to the beginning and look at some of the old videos. And I was skimming through some of them yesterday, and they do suck. You know, some of my original videos suck. Some of your original videos suck. Yeah. It's just the way it is. But what I like to tell people is, think about a musician. You know, a musician or a rock band. That first album that they put out is usually a really big hit for them. But 10 years down the road, they have to go to a concert and play what they consider to be their sucky content over and over and over again for an audience that's craving it, right? That audience wants to hear that song they listened to when they were at the dance in high school or whatever the hell it is. They want that, right? Yeah. And so the musician actually has to deal with that sucky content over and over and over again, whereas we're lucky. We get to publish something on YouTube and just let it sit in the archives. You know, if your year ago content sucks, it doesn't mean you have to go back and redo it. It just means people are going to see that you started somewhere and now you're here. And I know that this video that we're making right now, a year from now, we're going to watch this and probably have some sticking points about what we could have done better. And
sure, that's just
and that's just the way things evolve. But we're willing to put out what we consider to be good enough today.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, from a personal story or experience, I do quite a bit of professional speaking. I want to do even more, but I remember getting into it, it's as most of you can probably imagine, it's a terrifying experience. And for those of you watching that have done it, know that when you get up there that first time, a lot of the time you have no clue what you're going to do. You might not even know your content that well, so you're getting up in front of an audience, even if it's 5 people. Some of my first ones were like hundreds of people because I was really, I was really pushing myself and going for it. And I look back at some of the tapes, and it's literally embarrassing to look back and relive the experience. But now I'm a better speaker, and I look at some of the content I'm doing now and the feedback and the tapes, and it's like, wow, I've really made leaps and bounds in my skill level, but I still have a long way to go. And seeing that evolution gives me the drive and the inspiration to keep going, because I know that I'm going to keep improving. Had I not been willing to suck, though, in those beginning phases, I probably would not have continued speaking. Maybe I wouldn't even have tried. And who knows, I may not have become an entrepreneur because that was sort of, for me, that was the launching point. If you're a blogger, you've got to get that first video posted or that first article and not worry so much about how people perceive it, just get into action.
And if you're publishing your first piece of content, whether it's a YouTube video or a blog post or whatever it is, and this video inspired you to do so, Justin and I are going to be posting this video on our respective blogs. We'd love for you to comment and share with us the first piece of content that you put up, because we want to see it, and we look forward to seeing more from you.
Absolutely.